I'm Sarah Schilling.
And I'm Brendan Zwambeg. This is Spoke TV, your source for local and campus news. A Remembrance Day controversy struck up arguments all over Canada. Candace Cobbing takes a look at the white poppy and what it symbolizes.
Remembrance Day is a time to remember those who fought for our freedom. This same freedom is what allows Canadians to speak freely about their opinion on the poppy. It's Remembrance Day, and once again the white poppy issue has become a cause for concern and debate. Many people think that the white poppy is a new initiative, but it may not be as new as you think. White poppies were first introduced in the UK in 1933 by the Cooperative Women's Guild as a pledge to peace. The Peace Pledge Union helped distribute them the following year as a pledge that war must not happen again. Today, white poppy supporters argue that the traditional red poppy glorifies war, which is why they choose to wear the lighter counterpart. Terry Lynn Kaufman tells us her perspective on what remembrance means and what she thinks of the white poppy.
I just think that's wrong, and they shouldn't be wearing them because it's very disrespectful for the veterans and for the people who are currently serving in the military.
Not all veterans feel the peace poppy is offensive. Jim Breitup thinks that this freedom of speech is why soldiers fought so many years ago.
That's what all those 100,000 Canadians that died in wars fought for. Their right to express themselves. I don't agree with it, but fortunately, that's not my problem.
Whether your coat bears a red or white poppy, it is clear that people still remember. For Spoke TV, I'm Candace Cobbing.
Doping has long been an issue in organized sports, including the Olympics. This year, Canada has opened a phone line to help catch those using banned substances. Laura Rossi has the scoop.
The Sochi Winter Olympics are just around the corner, and with them, they bring the worry of Olympians doping to enhance their chances. With this worry, the Canadian Centre for Ethics in Sport decided to start an anonymous snitch line which launched Tuesday. The purpose of the snitch line is to allow athletes and others connected to the sports world to report doping allegations. The hopes are to stop doping before another disqualification and stripping of medals happens, like in the case of Ben Johnson in 1988. Although there is a possibility for this to be of great help, Tim Elcombe, assistant professor of kinesiology and physical education at Wilfrid Laurier University, has some speculations about something like this being set up.
I'm not sure what a hotline does any different than what exists now. I'm not sure that an athlete who's concerned about what's going on in their sport couldn't, anonymously send information to a sport governing body who, if they're serious about it and they absolutely, as they say, want to get doping out, even though there's rampant doping in all these sports, if they're serious about getting out, that they wouldn't pass that information along and that they wouldn't be followed. So I'm not sure what we've added that doesn't already exist.
Doping has a large stigma against it, but is it really as bad as we make it out to be? People take drugs such as aspirin every day to feel better. Some doping is used for the same purposes. Most
of the things that athletes are taking were designed to help people. Now they're taking them and they're using because they can be used to enhance performance. And like the health argument that we tell kids how dangerous these things are, but we'll give the kids the same things if there's something that they need to do in terms of health.
For Spoke TV, I'm Laura Rossi.
New claims by the Insurance Bureau of Canada state that distracted driving fatalities have overtaken those of drunk driving, leading to calls for new laws in Ontario. The risks for distracted driving in Ontario could continue to pile up. Advocates are calling for the provincial government to introduce demerit points and increase fines for those that are caught using their cell phones while driving. According to the Ministry of Transportation, inattentive driving fatalities saw a 62% increase between 2000 and 2010. Alberta, Manitoba, and Nova Scotia are the only other provinces lacking demerit points, but each has a heftier fine than Ontario.
The newest video craze is taking the social media world by storm. If you haven't heard of it yet, you will soon.
Who would have imagined that 6-second videos could have such an impact on pop culture? Vine is the newest form of social networking, where its users take a maximum of 6 seconds to get a point across. The app, now owned by Twitter, has created new forms of viral celebrities. Not only that, but television shows, movies, and celebrities use Vine for promotion. With over 40 million users, it looks like people may be using Vine for a long time.
Many studies have come out in the past few years showing the growth of Canada's video game industry. Cale Walters shows how Kitchener-Waterloo is becoming one of Ontario's gaming powerhouses.
When it comes to video gaming, Canada has ranked itself in the world's top 3 with no signs of slowing down. The industry brings in $2.3 billion to the country annually. Since 2011, the sector has seen a 5% increase in employment. In Ontario, Kitchener-Waterloo is quickly becoming a gaming hub. New businesses in the area are not going without help from the province, though, according to local gaming company co-founders Rashid Khan and June Kai.
But one of the good things that we have in Ontario is the digital media grant that the government gives us. So everything that we invest in developing a media product, we get 40% of that back from the government, right?
Khan also said that one of the reasons the area is starting to do so well is having many people locally who specialize in software engineering. Another reason for success in the area is that the province isn't primarily comprised of large enterprises.
The gaming sector in Ontario is mostly comprised of micro and small enterprises, and this does present a few challenges.
Andrew Matlock of Industry Corporation says that the main challenge is breaking into a tough market.
I think the main barrier to entry for new game companies is just the fact that it's an extremely competitive marketplace. And not only are games hard to make in the first place, but it takes an incredible amount of skill and expertise to actually pull off the business side of games.
Currently, Ontario has 70 of the 300-plus gaming companies in Canada, with more emerging every year. The province is also moving toward mobile, social, and casual gaming.
For Spoke TV, I'm Cale Walters.
This time of year is overwhelmed with holidays and celebrations. National Diabetes Month tends to take a back seat to Movember, Remembrance Day, and holiday preparations, much like how type 1 diabetes is overshadowed by type 2. Steve Rzinski tells us more.
We all know that healthy eating and regular exercise can prevent type 2 diabetes, but are many Canadians aware of the growing threat of type 1 diabetes? Canada has the 6th highest incidence of the disease in the world, and that is growing at a rate of 3 to 5% annually. The Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation aims to raise funds for clinical trials and educate the public on this epidemic. Since its founding in 1974, the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation has awarded more than $1.6 billion globally to type 1 diabetes research. Sharon Mayhew, Senior Fundraising and Development Coordinator at the Foundation, explains why type 1 is on the rise.
Something in our environment is causing the immune response. There's many trials going on to investigate different theories on what is causing it.
It is important to know the signs and symptoms. These can include trembling, blurred vision, dizziness, extreme tiredness or paleness, headaches, and hunger. Mayhew agrees families living with this type of the disease and even the public at large need to be more educated about this threat.
The awareness, is not out there, that people, one of their best defenses is to know the signs, get help right away, and to know the difference between type 1 and 2, because the media is bombarded with all of the type 2 info.
For more information, visit www.jdrf.ca. For Spoke TV, I'm Steve Rzinski.
Cambridge has joined the growing list of municipalities calling for a region-wide smoking ban. Alicia Van Mayen takes a look at what local companies and campuses are doing about the matter.
According to Ontario's Ministry of Health and Long-Term Care, smoking is the #1 cause of death and disease in the province, killing 13,000 people every year. Starbucks Coffee Company made front-page news earlier this year when they banned smoking within 8 meters of a store entrance, but the Waterloo region has had that ban in place since 1996. At Conestoga College, there are signs and no smoking lines painted on the ground that are ignored on a regular basis.
When I'm trying to leave out of the F-wing, it gets pretty smoky, and I'm coughing and covering my mouth trying to get out.
If you're a smoker, you need to smoke, right? So, I don't know, if it's raining or if it's snowing, especially here, it's not very good.
At its last municipal meeting, Cambridge City Councillors voted unanimously for getting the region to ban smoking in public parks, playgrounds, and athletic fields. Ed Dote, principal of Huron Heights Secondary School, explains why such a ban may be needed.
And if they want to impose a ban on smoking, that would assure people that it was also safe to take your children there and they wouldn't be exposed to cigarette smoke at the same time.
Cambridge now needs to get the 6 other municipalities on board with the plan. For Spoke TV, I'm Alicia Van Mayen.
Smoking bylaws could help reduce the amount of litter found in public areas. There are a surprising amount of cigarette butts that contribute to pollution each year worldwide. Amari Nicolau has the story.
We hear about how smoking is bad for our health all the time. What we might not know is that cigarettes also damage the environment. Cigarette butts represent a big litter problem, with about 4.5 trillion cigarette butts discarded into the environment every year all around the globe.
It's a common misconception among the public that cigarette butts will actually biodegrade, and that's in fact not true, because if the cigarette butt has a filter in it, the filter is actually made of plastic, and we know now that plastic doesn't biodegrade, it just breaks down into smaller and smaller pieces.
When cigarette butts are discarded on the ground, many of the toxic chemicals could leach out of the cigarette and run into our waterways.
Cigarettes are responsible for about 600 million trees that are destroyed every year to provide fuel for tobacco. Further deforestation is associated with the use of paper, with wrapping, packaging, and advertising of cigarettes.
Leave the Pack Behind coordinator Adam Cole thinks that this information related to environment damages caused by cigarettes should come handy to smokers.
Yeah, I think for some people it definitely would be a motivating factor and encourage them to quit smoking. Some people it might not, but there are many other reasons that people would want to quit smoking.
For Spoke TV, I'm Amari Nicolau.
As the weather gets colder and snow begins to fall, you may be thinking about putting away your bicycle. Rebecca Turner explains why you may not have to.
Now that it's late autumn, a lot of people are winterizing their cars, but with a few adjustments, your bicycle can also be capable of handling the inclement weather. Store manager at Ziggy's Cycle and Sport in Kitchener, Marta Generu, shares some key tips on bike maintenance for winter riding.
Well, for winter riding especially, I think you have to look at the temperature that's going to be out there when you're riding, as well as having your bike maintained and properly ready for the winter. So sometimes people get like winter tires like this, studded tires that help give you more traction or just more tread on their tires, as well as just put a lube on your bike that is winter friendly.
And with the decrease in daylight hours during the winter months, it's important for cyclists to stay visible. There are a few ways in which cyclists can increase their visibility, including reflective clothing as well as front and rear lighting. Owner and manager of the Hub Bicycle Shop in Cambridge, Clifford Van Cleef, says that visibility as well as planning a safe route can make for a better winter ride.
You know, if I look like a Christmas tree, then that's good, right? It's the more I can be seen, the better. You give myself time to get there. It's the same as driving. You want to give yourself a little bit extra time. If you can avoid a road, if there's a bike path that's been plowed, definitely go do that.
Sales associate at Ziggy's, Nicholas Abbott, says that if riders prepare properly, cycling in the winter can be fun.
You know, you can ride longer if you're a lot more comfortable, right? So if you've got a long commute, let's say 10 kilometers, if you dress for it and prepare for it, then it can be enjoyable and, very rewarding.
For Spoke TV, I'm Rebecca Turner.
That's all for this week. I'm Brendan Zwanbag.
And I'm Sarah Schilling. For more stories, check out spokeonline.com.